this is the worst possible outcome. Welcome back to the Mentor Roulette grind. Suddenly, we're back to a very high number of extremes, but simultaneously also a slightly higher number of duties thanks to an increase in Guildhests. Oh, and if I looked like I came out of the shower on screen, it was a very hot week, and I came straight from a bike ride. Oh well. That being said, for duty 1, we start with Thornmarch hard as Dancer. In a duty like this, even at this level, there are a couple tricks you can use as Dancer. The first one is that using most of your fan dances during buffs, holding 3 for exactly that, can let you do a bit more damage. This of course hinges on someone else having a raid buff of some sort at this level, but a ninja does provide Mug. The second thing is specific to downtime in fights. Because there's a bit of time with no attackable target between the last wave of Mox guards and the king spawning, you can use standard step and the 2 steps a few seconds before the king spawns in proper to do more overall damage. This run of course went well with no issues, which is why we're just talking about some easy optimization tricks. For duty 2, we went to Rathalos Extreme as Reaper. Most of the fight went very well, although phase 2 did get a bit scary as I both had to deal with getting the triple stack and being targeted immediately after the 3rd hit, as well as being targeted by the triple stack 3 times, meaning I got down to only 1 potion remaining. This is why you don't spend them in phase 1. Near the end of the fight, the white mage died from not being full HP due to ignoring a poison dot from a prior hit and then being hit once. Yes, Rathalos just is that strong. What is interesting about the triple stack targeting me repeatedly is that the strategy of letting someone solo the stack works mainly because you won't get targeted over and over with it, so it won't matter that it costs 3 potions to handle. However, in the event that you do get targeted over and over, it will eventually, potentially, lead to someone just dying due to having no answer left. I think the best you can really do is, if the same person gets targeted a 4th time, is that everyone stacks with them, so hopefully only 1 potion is needed. But assuming everything goes to plan, Rathalos should be near death by that point anyway. For duty 3, we went to Self-Management as Pictomancer. Such a classic. Not that much we can do here other than throw color at the enemies. For duty 4, we went to Ramuh Extreme, with half the party being community. Right at the start, there's a bit of a misunderstanding of who grabs orbs first, leading to both tanks to end up with 2 orbs, which usually would mean a total party wipe. Just like that. Indeed, Nox, who was tanking already, goes down, but this appears to buy just enough time that Ryu could get into position. With our high damage, we also hit the ad phase pretty quick, but awkwardly overlapping perfectly with the circle lightning. So I just died from a fear that there was no chance of removing. Very cool, Ramuh. Very cool. But the healer lives, and all the fears are solved together on the immediately following opportunity. The focus on ads was also so reliable and well done that Ramuh hadn't even hit 50% before the phase was over. Going into the last phase, we have a lot of orbs, but also a rolling thunder that I can instantly resolve. And with some scary moments here and there, we bring it home. Something interesting about the rolling thunder mechanic is that you might go through all of phase 1 and 2 and even get far into phase 3, and then suddenly things go sideways because orbs aren't being managed anymore. And the reason for that can be something as simple as the 1 or 2 players that have been actively managing to keep the orb count down end up stuck with the full buff, so they can't safely clean out orbs for a minute. Thankfully, with enough teamwork and communication, you can work through it, as we did, for slightly shaky but first pull clear. For duty 5, we went to Porta Decumana as Viper, featuring the most epic rotation of all of 222, 111, 221, 112 loop. With nothing much else to do, we also got both the LB1 and LB3 at the end of the fight, as quick as Porta Decumana can be, and easy. For duty 6, we went back to Rathalos Extreme as Samurai. Samurai having Kyoten and Yaten is really convenient for dodging mechanics on this one, especially in phase 1. Third Eye is also pretty nice for the triple stack, but due to the strict timing, I feel like it is very hard to get 2 Third Eyes into the 3 stacks. A tip for phase 2 is to make sure to reapply Higanbana while Rathalos is down to get the dot snapshot. This run went very well, finishing Rathalos in the 2nd down, although Ilana went down during the Garula bit. For duty 7, we went to Bismarck Extreme as Dragoon. We quickly clear up the beginning part, beat up the serpents with no issues, and deal with the thunder weather spreading out well enough. and clear Bismarck on the first opportunity with the amazing damage we bring. Sometimes the fight just is that easy, either by being able to do enough damage that you don't have to worry about whether you jump off manually or not, or by being careful enough to jump off in time. Yet another single pull extreme, just like that. Remember this for later. For duty 8, we went to Praetorium as Bard, and as we continue down this incredible destruction, clearing each duty decisively, it probably comes as no surprise that Praetorium serves no challenge. And to keep to the tradition, talking about if Bard was a Pokemon. Typing wise, I feel like a lot of options could work, and what we focus on can determine a lot. Are we thinking dots? Then probably poison and grass. If we think about some of the more powerful arrow actions, then flying featuring could make sense. And when it comes to the music, that could lead to normal due to how many sound-based moves are normal type. From a competitive angle, a sound-based aggressive moveset or a more supportive one could work, as something like a Bard would totally have moves like Follow Me to goad the enemy into attacking them, as well as other convenient options like Taunt. I'm actually not sure where to go with this one, so what do you think? For duty 9, we go to Over the Shoulder as Monk and beat up this guy with a flank positional. For duty 10, we go to Next to the Shoe and beat up this guy with a flank positional. It's just that easy. For duty 11, I can't stop the feeling. So just punch, punch, punch. Here our tank drags the marble far away from the bubble spawns, which, when done quickly, means you can avoid any potential danger from the bubbles while still being able to maximize single target damage. When it works, it is a nice time save. For duty 12, we fight at the flower poison clouds once more. While lacking AoE here might seem like a disadvantage, considering the only mobs that matter are the first wave, and the boss itself being fully focused on single target just might be more helpful in the short run, I suppose. For duty 13, we went to Lost City of Amdapor Hard. The section after the first boss has these spotlights, and all of the enemies in this section are weak to that light and get a bunch of debuffs if they're moved into it. It is a bit inconvenient to do sometimes with the tank, but it is worth considering if you want to optimize a bit. The second boss has a mechanic that involves placing down traps that explode after a while, dealing a particular element of damage. Ignoring it means everyone takes the damage, while stepping in it means you take it. The basic one is holy damage, but then as the fight progresses, half the party gets an earth weakness debuff while the other half gets a wind weakness debuff, which is of course accompanied by earth and wind traps, and the intended solution is to have the players that are not weak to an element take it. But as it turns out, for the most part, you can survive just ignoring the mechanic, which is a shame. For duty 14, we went to Buckman as Blockman Mage, featuring Buckman as we get at it with our fiery Buckman 1 spam. For duty 15, we went to Ifrit Extreme. On the first attempt, a bunch of things go sideways, but all of it traces back to healers standing all willy-nilly with the Searing Winds and doing a colossal amount of party damage with it, making it impossible for them to keep up on the necessary healing. Eventually, a tank also dies from needing a tank switch and being low, but that is sort of a footnote to the overall issue. We wipe before clearing the second wave of nails. To be clear, I had explained the Searing Winds thing before this, so we weren't expecting first-timers to just know based on nothing. Not that an explanation can replace hands-on experience entirely. On the second attempt, I believe BC was still being extremely inconsistent with positioning for Searing Winds, which led to a ton of unnecessary damage. We got further, but ultimately due to various things, the healers ran out of MP, certainly partly due to needing to address all this Searing Wind damage. A suggestion that came from chat during this run is that maybe they thought that Searing Winds only popped once, so you just had to go away, wait for the explosion, and then come back. I will say it is possible that's the case, but surely the additional poofs should have tipped them off to that being false. On the third attempt, we make it to the third set of nails, but let's just say that BC regularly felt compelled to stand roughly in the center of the arena with Searing Winds. Understandably, it is difficult to heal from that far away, but you simply have to trust that your co-healer has this when it comes to AoE healing, and then help with single target. Or, as a white mage, if it is really bad, you can use Cure 3, since that centers on your target instead of you, a very rare AoE healing property. We also have a talk about making sure you heal those that are still alive before you spend time raising more. Save those that can yet be saved first, you know? On the 4th attempt, we once again made it to the 3rd nails, and I'm wondering if BC is additionally being very inefficient with their MP. This kind of fight could genuinely be a case for using Cure 1 a bit when it seems to get this bad. For attempt 5, a tank and BC somehow survived through the 3rd nails, but then died to the hardened rage caused by failing it. And, once again, BC ran out of MP far too fast. On the 6th attempt, BC dies off early where most of the other pulls that had been MO. Just before the 3rd set of nails spawn, BC goes down again, but MO has plenty of MP to go. We get a few nails down as BC is raised, leading them to drop dead again. At the same time, MO barely survives to recover. With all of the healing needed, things are getting very scary, and just as BS decides to Hail Mary living dead expecting to die, CR is ready to take over for the switch. And just as we finish the nails, BC is back alive again, only for MO to die to the raid wipe that ends the phase. And before things get any worse, we finish with a limit break. Once again, what really makes this fight so hard is the Searing winds, and the sort of heal check that the 3rd set of nails imposes. For duty 16, we went to save a turtle as ninja. Its HP got a little spicy low. Remember, all we need is to bring it down to 50% to make the fire sprite spawn. Kill that, use the herb patch, and then move the turtle. Once the fire sprite spawns, the turtle should no longer be attacked. And finally for duty 17, we went to Bismarck hard, and on the 1st attempt, no, I'm not joking, it took so long to make, I guess, the sprout tank understand that they needed to pick up one serpent and then stay away from the other serpent that by the time it finally worked, we wiped, because this bit has a 2-minute DPS check actually. So long that most parties never even see it, but short enough that if you don't get it, Bismarck will send you back to the start. On the 2nd attempt, everything went as normal of course, and we cleared up very fast. Just really silly, especially in contrast to the single pull extreme we did earlier. Another set heavy of extremes and Guildhest sort of evening each other out. And this set we also only needed the DPS job wheel. How strange. Anyway, we also passed 44/53 on the achievement. Now, that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to support me and my channel more directly, you can become a member like these wonderful people here. You can also alternatively support me through Twitch or Ko-Fi. Links in the description. You can also support the channel by letting the YouTube algorithm know by liking the video, leaving a comment, subscribing, sharing, and hitting the bell to get notified when next I post a video. Fun fact, Monk's 4-point Fury Step 2 AoE combo was added in Shadowbringers. Before this, Monk just didn't have a Step 2 AoE. Not that AoE combos were super common back then. Instead, Monk's 3rd Step 2 option was a utility action called One Ilm Punch that did a never diminishing 1-second stun, and before that, just removed a buff from the enemy. Both of these effects continue to exist among Blue Mage's action list.